Great.
Yeah.
I'm ready to. And what I'm going to do is I do have a prepared statement, but I'm going to make some informal comments first, and then the prepared statement will take maybe 5 minutes,
Okay.
and then I'd be happy to respond to any questions.
My guy's right there, so
Okay.
anytime.
So last evening, I received a phone call from a friend of mine here in Rochester who said that he had received this flyer in the mail, and it's put out by the Minnesota DFL Party. And this flyer says, and I quote, "Alan Quist's extreme agenda for Medicare, he wants to end it forever." And on the other side it says, "Alan Quist wants to end Medicare." These statements are totally false. There's no truth to them whatsoever. So I thought I would come this morning and ask Mr. Walls to issue some kind of retraction or some kind of distancing, at least, of himself from this flyer. Then I found out later in the evening on Mr. Walls' FEC report that he had transferred $135,000 from his campaign to the state DFL party. So he essentially has paid for this. And because he has paid for it, he has to take responsibility. And so this piece, number one, is false. Number two, it is deceitful, because this is really Walls' money putting out statements that are totally false about myself. They're not only false, they are the opposite of my position, because my position is that of protecting Medicare and Social Security. So having said that, I do have a prepared statement that goes into more detail, and I would like to read that. Tim Walls has launched an entirely false attack on my position on Medicare while trying to hide his dishonesty behind the Minnesota DFL party. Specifically, the Walls DFL flyer states, "Alan Quist wants to end Medicare." The flyer also says, "Alan Quist's extreme agenda for Medicare, he wants to end it forever." These Walls DFL statements are totally false. When I announced the press conference yesterday, I intended to call on Mr. Walls to disavow and repudiate this flyer. But last evening I learned that the last Walls FEC report, which I have with me, revealed that Tim Walls transferred $135,000 to the state DFL party and has done so within the last 17 days. That means Tim Walls has essentially paid for this false advertising. Tim Walls cannot repudiate what he has paid for, so he must take full responsibility. Tim Walls says he wants to be transparent, but he's not willing to be transparent in his own political campaign. My consistent and public position is to protect Social Security and Medicare. In fact, I've made the protection of Social Security and Medicare primary focuses of my campaign. This Walls flyer represents the worst kind of Washington politics. I'm calling on all First District voters to repudiate this kind of deceit and dishonesty by voting Mr. Walls out of office on November 7th. And I would like to be happy to respond to November 6th. November 6th. That was an unfortunate typo. We'll have to get that right. I'd be happy to respond to any questions as well.
Does this actually, does that worry you at all, this flyer?
I'm not an individual that gets worried, but here's the Wall strategy. They mail this out to who knows how many households, and they expect that I don't have the opportunity to respond to the falsehoods in the flyer. So this is sleazy campaigning at its worst.
You could easily do the same thing.
I don't do this. I mean, I do not put out falsehoods. That's not who I am. So, but I think this is very dangerous for Mr. Walls, because he pretends to be something that he's not, and this flyer is proof positive of that.
Is this, do you think this is like a last-ditch effort sort of deal?
Well, it certainly reveals some desperation on the Walls' part, and so we've got a campaign that obviously is in trouble, and they are trying to change the tide. This is a desperate attempt to do it, and I don't think it's going to work.
Getting closer and closer to Election Day, the ad wars are starting I mean, we're seeing a lot of Tim Walz commercials.
Mhm.
And I don't know if we've seen as much of your commercial, because you take a lot of pride in that, but do you have any comment on that?
Well, I don't have a count on the commercials, but we know our commercials are very good. And I'm confident that our commercials are far better than Mr. Walz's commercials. But the issue in this campaign is now honesty and transparency and character versus sleaze attacks. And I don't think that bodes well for Mr. Walz.
What would you tell him if he was here about this ad?
I would tell him that this is dishonest and deceitful. And it's time for him to be a man and own up to his part in this piece, and to issue an apology and a retraction, because it's blatantly false.
Do you think he could back it up?
He can't. He can't. There are footnotes on here which we have checked out, and he has no substantiation at all. It's a total lie. And they know it's a lie.
I would like to get a shot at you holding it up again like you were.
Yep.
But
Yep.
show it to me, show it to these people.
So this is what it looks like, and I received a phone call, like I say, from Rochester last night. Says Alan Quist wants to end Medicare, which is totally false. In fact, my position is 180 degrees opposite of what this flyer says. And I don't think that Mr. Walz can get by with this kind of falsehood.
So in the back again, show.
And then the other side it says essentially the same thing. It also again says Alan Quist wants to end Medicare. Total falsehood. I'll have to say this is the sleaziest campaign piece I have seen, and I've seen some bad ones, but this is the bottom of the barrel.
Okay.
Get a few more shots. I'll keep asking questions. Vikings.
Stadium.
Stand over here, Peter. Sure.
Well, we can talk about subjects.
Yeah.
Just get voter ID.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Stance and why.
You know, yeah. Of course, I'm a fan of voter ID, but I didn't expect. You never know what the issues are going to be in a campaign until you get there. And here, I didn't expect an issue to be Walz's deceitfulness, and I'm going to say dishonesty, versus a candidate that whether you agree with them or not. I mean, I am straight with people. I don't deceive people. And this might become the biggest issue in the campaign. And of course, if it does, it's a winner for me.
Yeah. Are you feeling the crunch now? Come 2 weeks?
Well, I guess I started to feel it last night when I was in a position of getting ready for a press conference come 10:30 tomorrow morning or this morning. But that's fine.
What other stops do you have today?
We're going to go back to Mankato, have a press conference there, and then this press release goes out throughout the district.
In Mankato, are you going to be talking about the same thing?
Yes, it's going to be the same thing. So this may well put the first district race on the map, because an incumbent doesn't engage in this kind of sleazy attack against a challenger unless he is really worried. And all of a sudden, people may wake up and recognize that this is a real race, because it is.
Okay. I don't know if I have anything else.
And it's always good for KTTC to be on the cutting edge of what's happening.
Yep.
So, I can get you that.
Can you get it by noon?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be on by noon.
I can get you that now. One, two, do you want me to
Well,
send you
yes,
the list?
yep.
I have a list of all of the.
Just lay it on the table or something?
student
Sure.
programs
Yep.
available.
Yep, this one? Oh, no.
If I send you the flyer, I have a link.
Oh, yeah, sign it too.
Yeah.
And for you Republicans, I'm going to leave a copy of this here, just in case everybody, I'll just leave it on the desk.